okay. I'm going for a shortish ride today. I think it's about 35 miles, something like that. It's not a lot. It is raining. I'm actually not at all worried about the rain. I've got my waterproof Dianese Tempest jacket on, my waterproof Dianese Tempest gloves, and Dianese Tempest trousers. And the trousers were a bit of an impulse buy. They, whenever I've looked at them, they've always been £150 or more to buy them. And I was kind of like, well, you know, would I want to spend that much? Didn't really want to. But then I saw this pair on eBay for £50. You can't pass that up, can you? You really, really can't. So I bought them. I have to admit, they are toasty warm, waterproof, and they zip onto the bottom of my jacket. Which means I don't need to wear braces or anything like that with them. And they've also got air vents that you can open and close on the front. And they've got nice decent zipped up pockets. And they do feel really rather comfortable. The minor differences in getting them to go over my boots in that they've got a liner to them, a quilted liner that doesn't go over my boots, so to speak. Hasn't got a big enough diameter to go over the top of my boots, but other than that, yeah, I can't see any problem. The other thing I was sort of, when I first put them on, they fitted like a glove, if you want the truth. Wouldn't have needed any sort of braces to keep them up or anything like that. But what they have to fasten them at the top, there's a button over on the left hand side, and then a little bit to the right there's a press stud, and I kept propping the press stud, which meant all the force from me breathing and from me tubby belly went on that button, and I figured it would actually pop. It would just rip the thread and it'd be gone, and that would be it, and I'd be like, what was the point of that? But I realised they'd arrived with the Velcro adjusters on tightest. I let them off all the way down to their looser setting, and to be fair, then the trousers fit quite well over my waist. That's despite the fact that they are way too big for me. They're a Euro size 60, which means they're meant to have a 40-inch waist, and I think I might at worst have a 36-inch waist. And they are a bit of a loose fit, but I don't mind so much that loose fit. It's okay. But because of the same make as the jacket and the same style as the jacket, the zip at the top of the trousers actually properly fits the zip at the bottom of the jacket. So I tried that before I went to work on Friday. I zipped the jacket and the trousers together before I put them on, and then put them on, and they felt really quite comfortable. Getting ready to leave work, you're always in a bit of a hurry to get home, aren't you? And they were didn't quite go on so comfortably, and I was like, there we go. All sorts of other issues for me to sort out now. But I tried today. I put the trousers on first, then put the jacket on, and then went to zip it. It took me a couple of goes, I have to admit, but I got the zip in, and I got it fastened all the way across the back, so I'm happy really. It was a little bit tricky, and that was, to be fair, that was in the comfort of my living room. No idea what it's going to be like when I'm sat outside a tent trying to get the zip fastened up and it's pouring with rain and my fingers are freezing cold. That's probably going to be a different story. But yeah, it all fits really kind of quite nicely. So I'm not worried about the rain. I'm not worried about the rain at all. I've got the sat-nav on the handlebar mount. It's one I was a bit bothered about because, well, it's a bit of a springy kind of a mount by the time you've got everything together. Sat-nav is a lot closer to my face, I have to admit. Although, I don't think a couple of inches closer to the satellite is going to make any difference, is it, Vicky? But it's more, I can see it a bit more without taking my eye off the road so much, which can't be a bad thing. So I'm going to go and see a chap today who's got a different kind of handlebar mount. I've measured the post I've got to put it on, so if I get this different kind and fit it might be less bouncy. I'm not 100% sure, but there is also an alternative. I found that there was a bolt hole underneath, no doubt for fitting a mirror onto, for a different model of bike really. And I'm going to get a 10mm screw with a ball joint at the top of it. They're about a tenner. I'm going to put that in place. If the well, I'll just put it in place anyway and try it. It's no different then than the ball mount that's coming out the yoke, so it should be as stable. The sat nav will be a bit more in my line of sight, a bit closer to my face, a bit better for seeing while I'm riding. And because it's going to go into a bolt hole and be screwed into place, less chance that I'll be riding around anywhere and the grip inside the yoke coming adrift, because it's done that to me twice now. It's a bit frustrating. But it is a little bit bouncy. I've also got 3 drift cameras with me today. I've got the Ghost S, the usual one on my helmet, and the 2 Ghost X's, one on the fairing looking forward and one on the crash helmet looking back. I've had a few frustrations with them, but I don't think it's anything to do with the camera. I think it's down to me. When I was taking my bike home from the storage, I had one of the Ghost X's on the front, and I switched it on and pressed record and it wouldn't record. And I got a bit peed off, took it off the bike and put a Stealth 2 on it instead. But I've been meddling with the cameras at home to sort of find out where the problems lie, see if there's anything I need to do. What I found is when you switch them on the back of the camera there's a little LED that flickers, and while it's flickering you can't press the record button, so it won't record while that's happening. As soon as it stops flickering, press the record button and away it goes. So today, the one on the front, I switched it on first. The one on the helmet, I switched that on, and then switched the Ghost S on and did me voice checks with it. I found that everything worked fine. Now the only issue I have with rain sometimes is you can't see where you're going, like right now. On my other crash helmet, while I've been riding to and from work and been riding in the dark, I've been using furniture polish, and it's been doing a really good job. I get much clearer vision while I'm riding, even though it's dark. I'm not having any issues with not being able to see cat's eyes or anything like that, or with street lights sparkling across the visor. All of that sort of goes away and I can see reasonably clearly, so I'm happy with that. I did buy a specific beeswax polish for doing that on the visor, but I didn't dare do it while I was in Europe in case I ruined the visor. can't see, there's no way you're going anywhere, is there? I didn't want to ruin the trip by not being able to see where I was going. But at home it doesn't really matter. If I'd got it wrong, I could have just put a different helmet on and I'd have been alright. Whoa, matey. I'm due to come, according to the sat nav, I'm due to come to the end of this ride. About 20 to 2. And I've agreed to be at Dave's house for about 2, which is perfect timing really, because I can get to his house in 20 minutes from the end of this. And I've had a look on a map, so I know exactly where he is and how to get there. It shouldn't be any sort of a problem. So we are having a proper bit of a downpour here. When I'm looking at the jacket, yeah, there's water all over him, proper soaking wet. Nothing's getting through though, not a thing. I tightened up the neck, or the collar on the jacket as well. Thursday night on my way home I felt the tiniest trickle of water down the back of my neck. It hadn't got through the jacket, it just rolled down between the collar and my neck. Wasn't very comfortable. So sorted that out basically. With a slightly tighter sort of collar, I'm not getting any rainwater running down my neck at all, which is nice. So I'm going out sort of the A56 I'm on. Higher lane actually is what it's telling me I'm on, but at some point I go onto the A56 and it turns to go down some country lanes around Lymm area. Just going to stop and give the visor a bit of a wipe, it's a bit mucky. Just a bit tricky to see, so let's get that sorted. I think I've got a cloth in here somewhere for it. It'll clear. There you go, they've cleared. Cleaning the visor hasn't made any difference at all. Bit of a bummer. I'll have to wax this one up as well. Apart from that one occasion in Austria, I haven't really had any issues with the visor on this at all. It doesn't mist up. The only issue I'm having at the moment is that it's kind of one of those situations where I'm getting sparkly lights across it. It just makes it a little bit difficult to see some of the finer points of the road surface and what have you. But I can read the signs and everything, they're all pretty clear. And I guess if I were to go a bit quicker it would clear the visor, but yeah, stay as I am. There you go, the wheat sheaf, I can read it. Hey ho. Got another 17 miles to go on the route I've picked, so it's not far. One of the reasons why I'm still riding, I've got a fair amount of tread still left on the tyres. Otherwise, in all honesty, this bike could be locked away for the winter by now. I'm also quite happy to go out and do it now that I've got proper waterproof biking clothing. So it's not ball ache, it absolutely is, but getting soaked to the skin. And of course I enjoy riding the bike. I don't really much care about what the weather's like. I'm just happy sitting on the bike and riding it. It's a good way to spend an hour or two. I have got a route planned for going up to, not quite going over the Snake Pass. I think that's probably not a wise manoeuvre just at the minute. Oop, muddy, great in it. But I was going to go up and take an alternative route. There's, by the Blue John Mines, there's a road somebody sort of recommended to me some time ago, and I was thinking, looked at it, thought, yeah, that's all right, that. So I'd planned a route to go out there sometime. It is a case of keeping an eye on the weather. I'm fairly certain it's colder up there for them than it is for me over here. And I'll have to check the snow forecast before I go and do it. I've got a turn to make here somewhere. It's a roundabout, and I'm taking the first exit. Yeah, I'm onto the A56 now. Now the tyres themselves, I was having a look at them the other day, well yesterday as it happens, they are a bit squared off. On a dry road I don't really worry about it, it's not an issue. But on a wet road it's a little trickier. So you just need to take a little bit more care, which is what I'm doing as it happens. There we go. Now, I'm finding it not much more difficult. It's reading it and making my mind up when to turn and everything is, I don't think it's any more difficult in its old position than in its new. The main problem I have, oh shit, I hope that's not, no it's not, I thought it was going to be cobbled then. The main issue I have is remembering to look at it. When you're belting down a road having a good time, the last thing that's on your mind is looking at your sat-nav. Charcoal Road. But at least with it a little bit closer now, I can actually see it out the corner of my eye while I'm riding along. It's possible in some circumstances that I'd look at it a bit more often. There are a few potholes around here. Coming into Dunham Massey. I have no idea what it's famous for, but I do know the name. Saw some water over the wall there. I know we'll be going somewhere near Lymm Dam at some point. On my way back. Now, I have been looking at, because I actually really like this bag, and I haven't been sort of excited about buying anything different than this one, and also knowing that it's hard to get insurance for European cover, sorry, for an older bike. They made these until 2005 from what I can see. Now I could get insurance for this one, so if I bought a 2005 one, it would be a year newer than this by the time we go abroad again. So I know I'd get insurance for it. And in all honesty, I would prefer this than any other bike, so that's what I'm inclined to do. I had a brief look to see what they cost me. Some of them are going for about 2,500, something like that. This one cost me 1,800. So I could buy another version 3 years newer and then sell this one, and the changeover wouldn't be a particularly expensive one. Okay, got to turn in 440 yards. It's an area I've not ridden a bike on before. I don't think. I think I've ridden a bike around or near Lymm Dam before. It was a CZ 250 I did, and it was loaded up with fishing gear because that's where I was going. I was going there as part of Warrington Anglers Club, I think owns that, or did at the time. Now we're on to Station Road. Oh yeah, they've got a fishery here. Ooh. That'll most likely be trout. Ice cream place. Well, whether I like it or not, it's not a day for blasting along. Especially when it's mainly because it's wet, but also because I don't actually know the road. Roads nearer to home I might go a little bit quicker. Not a lot, I don't think. And especially not that on that roundabout just closest to where to get home. I slid on that on dry with good tyres, so I'm not going to hammer my way through it in the wet on tyres that have now done a little over 7,000 miles. And I've squared off a little bit. And there was something else I was looking at while I was on eBay. People have asked Paul for more off-bike footage. I find, we tried it when we were away last time. I put a camera up on a shelf at our first hotel while we were having breakfast. And while it recorded video okay, it didn't record sound. If it moved the camera nearer to where we were so it recorded sound, all you'd have seen was the plates with the food on and not a whole lot else, you know. But I've seen a little trinket on eBay. It's a pair of spy spectacles that has a camera in it. And I'm thinking, get off the bike, put them on, switch them on, and I don't have to worry about where the camera's close enough to record my voice. I don't have to worry about holding onto it, and my eyesight isn't bad long distance, so as long as I'm not trying to read a menu, I'll be alright. Paddock Lane now. So they're only a tenner, and if they don't work I can throw them in the bin, it won't really matter. But if they work, apart from anything else, they're likely to have a wider camera angle than say a compact camera. I also won't need to meddle with them quite so much. Apparently they've got a little light on the so my eye side of the lenses, so I can see that it's recording without having to do anything. And if they work all right, I might be able to do a lot more off-bike footage. And if Paul buys the same sort of thing, which he may prefer to do it a different way, then you may start to get two-way conversations, as in I'll be talking, he'll be talking, and he can flick from camera to camera as each one of us speaks, so you get not just what I'm saying but where I'm looking when I'm saying it, and the same from him. But I don't mind taking the risk with it first and seeing if it works or it doesn't. Not a tenner, who cares about a tenner? Here we are, we're into Lymm. 10 miles left to do. Same here as it is at home. Fields are a bit sort of flooded. To be fair, now I'm having to make a lot more turns, I am finding I'm noticing the sat-nav more than I would have done. There's one of the cameras switched over after having been recording for half an hour. I suspect it'd be the Ghost S that's done that. I haven't noticed any of the others doing it. It's kind of country-ish in a way. Plenty of fields, for example, but then there's also a lot of houses and a lot of cars. And we're in a 20 zone. Love 20 zones. They are my favourite. But I'm not going anywhere, not with the level of this traffic around anyway. I think the rain might be easy. Pouring with rain and I'm on cobbles. That really was what I wanted. Why the hell do they still do that? We're off them. Still in a 20 limit. We're going on to the A56 again. I don't think that person bothered looking to see if I was here. So I'm on Cherry Lane now. Hellishly built up, I think, for a lane. Well, that was something the sat-nav didn't tell me. It's actually a give way here. Oh, I could have gone straight across there and run into them cars. Let's keep out of his way. Oh, good. 40 mile an hour speed limit now. There's a joy to behold. Straight across this roundabout. A50, you're heading to Warrington. Bit of a runner there, looking like he's a bit knacked. I wouldn't do it. It's bad enough being out in this on a bike. Wouldn't want to be bloody running around. So, now I'm back on my way towards Stretton. Familiar territory, to be fair. Now, I know I've been on this road before, but it was dry then. Not so bloody dry today. And if you remember, there was it here that the speed camera was? I don't think it was. No. No, it wasn't. Let's have a look. I think I'll be following the Stretton route. Yeah, sat nav says so. So that's what I must be doing. On a dry day, I would love this road. On a wet day, yeah. We are Stretton. Now when I get down the bottom of here and I do a right turn, I do an immediate left, then I'm heading back to Daresbury. There'll be a set of traffic lights up here. There they are. So I do a right and immediate left. Now, the Cat and the Lion, I haven't been in there. We did the Ring of Bells bit down by Ratty in Daresbury, and then we went to Hatton the other night, which I'll be passing shortly once I get down that road. Both of them were really good. Mrs. was well chuffed with the Hatton Arms. So much so we're going back again tomorrow night. But next time we're going out by ourselves, I think we're going to give the Cat and Lion a go. Looks like the doors are a bit wider as well, so I'll get her through in a wheelchair a lot easier. Hydrotherapy for dogs. This is very familiar territory. It's round the corner the speed van was. And he's not there today. There we are, we're in Hatton now. I have to admit, the locals in the Hatton were immensely friendly. Mud on road, eh? Right. This road was really muddy, a lot further down, sort of more towards the Ring of Bells. Between the Hatton sort of pub and the Ring of Bells. That road runs alongside the field where they do cream fields, and it was muddy. I don't know what goes on at these festivals because I've never been to one, but there must be an awful lot of mud going on. Now the Hatton Arms themselves are just round the corner from here. 500 or 600 yards. According to the sat nav, 600 yards to the turn right in front. There's a decent sized beer garden with a covered area right outside the door to the restaurant. It was closed when we were there, so you couldn't really go out. But I imagine in the summer they open it up. So you can go and sit out in the beer garden. If it's leathering it down, you can sit under the sheltered area and still have your beer. Not a bad idea. Not a bad layout for a pub either. And all oldie worldy on the inside once you get in. There it is. The Hatton Arms. Now down here we'll be heading off to the Ring of Bells. And then that's the route I'd planned sort of done. It's 1:33. It says I'll finish it in 1:37. So, or by 1:37, so it's saying another 4 minutes. Into Daresbury. I think we've got a Lewis Carroll Centre around the corner. I didn't really know Lewis Carroll had anything to do with Daresbury. Here's the Ring of Bells. That's actually a really nice pub and they do cracking food, unbelievably good food. I think they like you to book though, because the first thing I got asked when I walked in is, have you booked? And I thought, oh shit. but they sorted us out with a table. Right, that's my planned ride done. I'm back in Daresbury. It's time to shoot off and see Mr. Muse.